Welcome to Kicking It Up a Notch. I'm Todd Pritsky from Fletcher, Vermont, the Vice Chair for the Franklin County Democratic Party. And this is our inaugural show, so we welcome you to our short and sweet appetizer, if you will, as we determine how to best proceed to expand our new show and some of our other outreach, trying to get you to understand a little bit about the Democratic Party, but more importantly, to get you engaged in what's going on in your community. I'm joined today by two wonderful guests. Perfect guests, we might say. We had a little discussion about that earlier. To my right is Mike McCarthy, small business owner in St Albans City, and also the newly elected chairperson of the Democratic Party. And to my left is Caroline Bright, former Vermont, Miss Vermont, and current St. Michael's College student, civic duty doer extraordinaire and all that. We'll be hearing more from them about a variety of issues, just in general about the community, but also about engaging in politics. Let me start first with our new chair. Mike, welcome to Kicking It Up a Notch.
No, thanks for hosting, Todd. I really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, what can I say?
Well, well, that's good. I mean, what we're trying to do is take advantage of the available media, both traditional media as well as the new media type stuff that is out there, you know, Facebook, Twitter, all the Web 2.0 kinds of things. And I appreciate your really bringing a lot of that energy and vision to try to do something a little bit different, go in different directions. But let me ask you a pointed question.
Sure.
A stodgy kind of question. Why did we Democrats choose you to lead us in the Franklin County going into what's going to be, I think, a very difficult and challenging 2012 election cycle?
Yeah, 2012 is going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging, I think, for people of many different political persuasions across the country. Here in Franklin County, there are a lot of changes going on, and there was a sense, I think, in the 2010 election cycle that a lot of the people felt like they didn't really have a party in Franklin County. There were a lot of folks who didn't feel like either party represented their values or that they were really excited about politics at all. So part of what I'm trying to offer as a young person trying to bring new life and new energy into the Franklin County Democrats is a vision that says, hey, we're a big tent. We don't need you to agree with Democrats on everything. We're not necessarily like Democrats are across the country. Democrats in Vermont are pragmatic, they're doers, we're very service-minded, we care about our communities, and I want to take those values and say, hey, if you want to help to make your community better, this is a way that you can do it, and we want you to get involved.
Awesome, I appreciate that. And I think that's, when you say you don't have to agree with the Democrats, well, Democrats don't usually agree with Democrats anyway, so
yeah,
which is sometimes it's a double-edged sword. It can be bane but also boon. It gives us a chance to be diverse and to approach things from a variety of different perspectives to get the stuff done that a lot of people need, that really everybody needs, even if they aren't aware that they need it all of the time.
Exactly.
So thanks very much. We'll come back to you in just a little bit. But Caroline, welcome.
Well,
thanks
you.
for driving all the way up here from school.
Yeah, all 25 minutes up the interstate.
Well, yeah, Vermont's not much of a commute for most of what we do, but I appreciate your zipping up here to kind of help us kick off this show. And let me ask you a kind of pointed question as well. Why do I care about engaging youth? And you work with the Young Democrats, which is a revived organization, I guess. But why are we trying to do this? Because you guys never show up anyway, right?
Well, I would have to disagree with you. I mean, I think recently there was a constitutional amendment that was pushed through the legislature by young people in Vermont who want to participate in voting in primary elections, not just the general elections. And even though they're 17 at the time of the primary, they will be 18 by the time of the general. And these young people were so committed to voting in the primary and the general election that they went through and they changed the constitution of the state of Vermont. I think that really speaks to a broader situation that we have in the state right now of young people who are motivated, who are engaged, and who are really excited. This isn't a phenomenon in Vermont that is because of President Obama's 2008 election bid. This is something that has been ongoing. This is something that will continue to go on regardless of, anything that's happening on the federal level. And I'm really excited to see the young people in Franklin County take their place on the stage in the state and within our own communities here.
Excellent. And I think that's a real key, is the community aspect, is that we all live here. We're, the youth are growing up here. They may raise their own families here or what have you. And how do you get everyone engaged to make their communities stronger, safer, whatever? And so, you mentioned the 2008 election. There's some talk because of what's happening at the national level that there's a malaise, people are kind of disengaged. How does that affect us here, and how do you both of you purport to try to get people more involved and keep that energy that we did see in 2008, Obama notwithstanding, then or now?
Well, I think it's really important to keep in mind that Vermont is different from the United States as a whole. Vermont is a different place. We have a different sense of community. We have slightly different values, I think, than many other areas of the country. And Franklin County itself is special within Vermont. I was Miss Vermont last year, and I spent literally 12 months driving everywhere all over the state. 30,000 plus miles in my car, driving to and from Brattleboro and Bennington and everywhere. And one of the benefits of that was that I got to see the differences in different communities around the state. And Franklin County is unique. We are different from the Northeast Kingdom. We are different from Southern Vermont. We're definitely different from Chittenden County. And I think the Democratic Party in Franklin County is different too. And that's a great thing. And it provides an opportunity for people who are genuine Franklin County Vermonters to have a place to have their voice on a state and national level.
Yeah, Mike?
One thing that I wanted to say about youth was that I heard our Education Commissioner Armando Villaseca talking on the radio about the youth risk assessment that just came out. And so the survey results said that there has been, in the last 2 years, a huge uptick in the number of youth who do at least an hour of community service every week. And I think that that's an indicator really of civic involvement and the fact that youth are probably a little more interested in their communities, and the efforts that people in the state and people in education and in human services have really made to get parents and their kids into community, doing service projects, aware of what's going on, and to be more civic minded. I mean, if you look at things, the kinds of tools that people are utilizing, like Front Porch Forum, for instance, which we just got in St Albans City recently. I encourage anybody who lives in St Albans City to get on the front porch because it's slowly growing. There are a couple hundred of us right now, but those kinds of tools tell me that youth and adults alike are really interested in improving their communities, that people are kind of waking up and saying, you know what, I can't just go to work, come home, go to work, come home, take my kids to school, go to work, come home. I've got to actually do a little bit if I want to see things improve in my community. And that's really exciting. There's a huge hunger right now on the part of people who are leaders to get people involved. And when I ran as a candidate last time around, I couldn't believe that I was welcomed as a young candidate in the way that I was by the Franklin County Democrats and just by people in the community. So I think if you're out there and you're saying, oh, maybe I don't really know what's going on in my community, people want you to be a part of the conversation. We want to hear what you have to think. There's a huge demand for that right now. And if you've got something to say, please contact me as a person who's now got some tools and some resources to bring to bear, and your local government, because they're ready to listen.
Yeah, and I think that you made an important point that we've got not only people just working and living in the community and not just voting every couple of years or something like that, but actually saying in between elections and on my time off or my weekends, I'm going to do things like help with the Irene recovery, for example, or things that are even more immediate, that doing the Meals on Wheels, going to work at the Franklin County Senior Center and so forth. What other things could people do you think, to get involved? I mean, the new young Democrats is just starting up again, but what other things could youth in particular get involved in that can help out their community, that they're going to be seeing for a long time to come? That you've seen people do, that has shown a little bit more opportunity for people that they didn't know they necessarily had.
Well, Mike mentioned volunteering and community service. That is a great way for young people. And by the way, 25% of Franklin County's population is 18 or under. So 25% of our population can start volunteering right now. They don't have to wait until they're in high school even. They don't have to wait until they're in college. They can start giving back to their communities right now. We have some fantastic community resources in Franklin County. My mom works with Martha's Kitchen, which is a wonderful thing. We've got great community resources that young people can get involved with. Now, the Young Democrats of Vermont is really exciting. We're really excited that we're getting this off the ground. We are providing a group for young people who are Democrats in the state of Vermont to come together to make sure that our voice as young people is heard in the state legislature, and to show that we are a force within the state of Vermont. We're not, young kids who don't know what they're doing anymore, and we're not, these young upstarts. We know what's up, we know what's happening, and we're excited about the future, we're engaged in it, and we want to make the change happen.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, you say we're not the upstarts. I mean, it was recognized from the beginning of this republic, the Vermont Republic, that education and teaching civic virtue was so important. It was the lifeblood of the republic, that you had to think of the future and the posterity. And so that opportunity is there, and sometimes people feel a little disempowered, a little disengaged, disenfranchised, if I can use other words there, because of their youth. But really, there are opportunities before they even turn 17 now to be able to vote in primaries. And what are some of the things that the parties, particularly the Democratic Party, but progressives and Republicans, can all of us do to get youth involved? So it's not just a partisan issue, but what are some of the things that we could do to get people to recognize their value to the community?
Yeah, I mean, as party, we can definitely facilitate a discussion of issues. And I think that the linking young people by having events where they can talk to their legislators. I mean, Vermont is such a great place to live because there aren't so many of us that we've got, bodyguards on every single state senator, or, you can actually just have a meeting with your state representative or your state senator. You could usually get a meeting with somebody from the governor's office if you really wanted about an issue. I mean, we have a very accessible and open government. And when you come down from the state and you start to talk about your municipality, I mean, go to a city council meeting if there's something that matters to you, or your town select board. Go and talk about it, bring up an issue, write a letter to them. I mean, all of that information is so public, and there are new public tools, like I mentioned Front Porch Forum, but VPR is also doing Public Post, which is something where you can read minutes and find out what's going on in your community. And if there's something that really matters to you, like you really want the park to be tobacco-free, that's something we just went through in St Albans City, and that Enosburg's gone through. I think that that's an issue that there was some room for debate on, and we can facilitate that discussion of those kinds of issues in our communities as people who are party leaders too. And I think that when we kind of coalesce and we say, hey, there's a body of people that are saying we need this thing, we want this thing done, that the way democracy works and we move issues forward is by getting together. There's the strength in numbers and saying these people, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or progressives, all of us say that we need this particular thing from our government, and will you guys do it? And there's a better chance of getting that done if we all speak together as one.
Yeah, well, I think we're certainly seeing that with the 99% and the Occupy Wall Street sort of movement right now, both in nationwide, worldwide, and even in Vermont. That might not be everybody's cup of tea, but there are other opportunities to engage and try to affect change and do the things that you think are valuable to your family and the community and whatever. In terms of outreach, what kinds of new things are you bringing, you and the young Democrats in general, bringing to the table to get more people involved, especially youth?
Yeah. So, I mean, just the use of social media is the first and easiest thing. I mean, first of all, it's free, and that's where everybody is. So there's a Facebook group that's been started for the Vermont Young Democratic Party, and as it kind of grows and revives, it will hopefully also be a thing that we have county and town and school chapters too. And if you're interested in starting a chapter in your school, that's something that I'd be interested in helping folks facilitate. So if you'd like to, get in touch with me through the Franklin County Dems Facebook page, that's something I'm really happy to be involved with.
Yeah, and so what is the URL? Do you remember the URL for the Facebook?
Well, you can go to facebook.com and you can search for Young Democrats of Vermont.
Okay, that's pretty easy. And tell us briefly about Lynguistic Civilians. I hear someone's coming to town in just a few days.
So hot off of their 2011 Best Unsigned Band in Vermont win at the 7 days for the Daisies. The Lynguistic Civilians, they're homegrown hip-hop. They're from Vermont, based out of Burlington. 4 MCs and an awesome DJ, now the live drummer. They're coming to the Bliss Auditorium, which is here in St. Albans. It's the 3rd floor of the Historical Museum. We're bringing them there. It's $10 a ticket. It's going to be Friday, November 11th at 7 o'clock. It should be a lot of fun. That show is 21 plus. So we would like to have young people there who are over 21 for this particular event.
But we'll be doing more stuff going forward.
We will be doing more stuff for young Democrats. But this particular event, Civilians on the 11th, awesome. Love to see you there.
Awesome. Appreciate that, and thank you very much, Caroline, for coming as well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into our inaugural show. We'll be doing more of these, a little bit longer format going forward, and so just watch this space, and thanks for watching Kicking It Up a Notch.
Yes, we'd love to. Cause you are so stressed out, you can't even think. So close to flipping out, you're right on the brink. Yes, we love to. Crack a cold beer just to rest.